When Christians in the church is close to the prophetic, you essentially rule out the whole realm of revelation from God. And without revelation, Proverbs 29:18 says, without revelation, without vision, people perish.
I love food, so sometimes I keep going back to food. It's a bit like, we've all studied that we need carbs, we need proteins, we need vitamins, we need minerals. It's a little bit like us saying, I'll take the carb, I don't want the protein, right? Or something like that. We cannot do without it, right? And so we're being a little foolish if we say that, right? And these are all probably harsh words sometimes, but it's a time and season where we've got to say the truth as it is. And so we cannot do without it.
When I was young, you pray for the gift of the Holy Spirit. Of course, they tell you have to pray for the fruit first. But you're like, fill me with this, God, give me this gift. And I remember being so fascinated by word of knowledge, because it's just like a superpower if you think about it. You just walk up to someone and you're like, yeah, so this is happening in your life, and God is saying that He's going to do this and this, and they're just like, what? Who are you? And it just seemed like such a cool way to serve God, I was like, that is the gift I want. But I think what fascinated me so much about that is that, when nobody knows what you're going through in the depths of your experience, you might not tell anybody, but God knows. And what an amazing way to reach out to the world, reach out to the person next to you, your neighbor. We think about evangelism as go into all the nations, but really it's about the other person, the person on the other table next to you, sitting and having their meal, right? And so I always used to wonder, what would it be like if we could ask God for that? Like, God, what do you want to speak to this person? And yes, we can share John 3:16, which is God's heart for the world. But when the Holy Spirit gets involved in that contained time and space, and He begins to speak to that person, the impact is so amazing, and they get to hear the heart of God for them. Imagine someone who's never really met with God. They've just heard God as a 3-letter word, they don't really know who God is, and you getting to share this piece of His heart with someone, I think it's phenomenal, right?
We defy what God intended. Jesus was bodily with the disciples, but He couldn't be omnipresent at the same time everywhere. Couldn't. But His coming was a purpose to die for all mankind, and He rose up. And then He said, I will send the Comforter who is just like Him, and He's from the Father. He is the Spirit of truth. He will empower you and He will guide you. So, Holy Spirit is in us, and He is prophetic. And if your relationship is not connected with God and you are not hearing Him, that is bad, isn't it? The whole purpose of giving you the Holy Spirit is that you have intimacy with Him, you commune with Him, and you flow with Him. Because God has a plan and purpose in your life, and He wants to speak to you, guide you, empower you, so that you will walk in the truth, walk in your assignment, and fulfill your destiny.
In a postmodern era, especially where we're living, where focus is on experience and my truth, and I need to know it for myself, right? I think we as a church really need to explore this and make sure that we're equipped to love the world, to be that voice wherever God takes us.
Those who are led by the Spirit of God are the sons of God. So if you are claiming to be a true son or a true daughter of God because of your relationship with God, and it's important for us to know that our relationship with God is not monologue, it's called to be dialogue. So if the church is not going to be prophetic, I would say every church is called to be prophetic. When you are prophetic, or when you are led by the Spirit, or when you are led by what the Holy Spirit is telling you, you intend to have a greater level of impact, a greater productivity and fruition, and end of the day, there is a huge advancement of God's kingdom.
If you are a father or a mother, would you not give your child the carb and the protein and the vitamins and the minerals, right? So it's a little bit like that, I may not like broccoli, but I can't deny the fact that it is good for me, right? So the Father has that. He set the table. He knows what's good for His body. And so sometimes you and I don't get to choose what He has already established. And I think that would be quite foolish if we do that.